What's up, fellas? We back, fellas. We're gonna do some little cooking today, and what we're gonna do is, I was sitting around the other day thinking about food, as I tend to do from time to time, and it occurred to me that surprisingly enough, I've never cooked a crab cake for you. As much as I talk about our crabs here in Maryland, Maryland seafood. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna cook us a genuine Maryland crab cake, and I got my little helper who is gonna assist me with this process. Stay right there, and I'll be right back. Okay, YouTube, so as we're getting started, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the crab meat. This is obviously what goes without saying, the most important thing. This is Maryland crab meat out of the bay. And when I talk to you about the lump crab meat, this is what you're looking for. Okay, you got big chunks of crab, and that's what you need. If you want a real crab cake, a real Maryland style crab cake, it starts with jumbo lump crab meat. You can eat this stuff just like it is. Oh my God, it's so good. But I'm gonna do somewhere. Cook with it. We're gonna make these crab cakes. This is what you want. Excuse me. It was so good. All right, so let me show you what we're gonna use in addition to that crab meat I just showed you. By the way, with that crab meat, keep in mind, I don't have the other types of crab meat that are available to show you so you can appreciate the difference. But they have, that's jumbo lump that I just showed you, and I'll say to you, that's what you want when you're making your crab cake. There are obviously different kinds of crab cakes, and you can have people that make crab cakes where they'll basically take a bunch of that jumbo lump, throw a little seasoning on it. This is popular at restaurants, at high-end restaurants. Put it in the oven and heat it up, and maybe put a little bit of sauce on it, call it a crab cake. It's not, it's more like it's just a bunch of crab meat, but you got different types, and then you got low-end places where you go, especially if you ever go to a buffet and they tell you get Maryland crab cakes. It's at a buffet. You're not getting Maryland crab cakes. You're getting you're getting what's called a back fin meat, first of all, which is the lowest of the meat, the stuff that has all the cartilage and stuff mixed up in it, and then you're getting a bunch of breading on top of that. So you're not really getting anything legitimate. Get you some jumbo lump. I wish I had the back fin and the lump. Lump is okay. Jumbo lump is best. Back fin, stay away from. Claw meat is okay if you're doing something like a stew or something like that. And they do a good job picking it. Assuming you got it from a place that did a good job picking it, so you don't have all that cartilage. This is what we're going to be using. The crab meat, obviously. We're going to use some mayonnaise. We're going to use some Dijon mustard. And I like grape poupon. You probably can use any Dijon mustard. That's what I like. We're gonna use some Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna use some Old Bay crab seasoning, seafood seasoning. We're gonna use one of these. You don't have to use this. This is an Old Bay crab classic crab cake mix. If you decide to use it, you don't have to use it. And I'll tell you what to do if you don't have one of these, can't get one, or can get one and don't want to. I'll tell you what you would do instead of using this. But if you use this, don't follow the instructions that are on the back of it. Do what I'm ready to do right now. The instructions on the back of it aren't going to get you where you want to go. Give me 1 second, I'll show you. There's one other thing that I didn't pick up that we need. And the last thing we're going to be using are breadcrumbs. This is, as you see, Italian style. Don't sweat that. I got this because I was cooking something Italian with it. Probably, I have no idea what I was cooking with this. Parmesan chicken, probably the breading for Parmesan chicken. But if you get breadcrumbs, specifically for doing the crab cakes, you can just get plain. It's just a filler. We'll talk about that in a second as we mix. Let me readjust this camera. Boom! Let's get it going. Okay, we're gonna start off with the crab meat. This is 1 pound, by the way. I don't think I mentioned it. This is 1 pound of lump, and that should give you somewhere in the area, depending on what size you make them, you can go anywhere from 4 to 6 crab cakes with it, depending on how big you want your crab cakes to be. All right, the first thing we'll go in with is the Old Bay, and what I like to do with it, give it a decent coating. You don't want to overdo it really heavily. So if you can take a look at that, let's see what we did with it. That's about right. And then what I like to do is just toss it. Don't use my hand. I can get it to where everything is flipped pretty much. And then put that newly exposed section of the crab meat, a little Old Bay on there as well. Alright, this can's pretty much towards the end, so, but that's perfect. We don't want too much of that if you're doing it this way. And by this way, I mean if you're using this, because this has seasoning in it as well. So one thing you would do if you're not going to use this, you're going to add more Old Bay to make up for the seasoning you wouldn't be getting out of this package. So that's something to keep in mind. Something I did not say when I gave you the ingredient list, black pepper. You don't need a lot. Same thing, we'll put a little in there. Move the crab meat around a little bit. We'll put in a little more, not too much. Next, we're gonna go in with the mayo. I've got a spoonful here, and you can see this, the size of the spoon that I'm using. A couple of those, pretty much heaping size. Grape poupon. You appreciate how much that is. The size of the spoon. We're going to do that about 1.5 times. Okay. All right. Go in with the crab cake mix. This crab cake mix is both filler or breading and seasoning as well. So that's why I say if you're going to use this, you're going to cut back on the amount of Old Bay, straight Old Bay you use. If you're not going to use this, you're going to use more Old Bay. If you're going to use this, you're going to cut back on the amount of this that you use, your breadcrumbs. If you don't use this, then you're going to use more breadcrumbs because this is going to be your sole filler. One of the things I like about this most is that I like the way it holds it. And I say filler. If you're cooking your crab cake right, it shouldn't come out tasting like it's got filler in it. Filler is the way that people save money when they're selling crab cakes and they stretch the crab to more than it should be, right? Put in a lot of bread, it's called filler. When you can taste it, it's called filler. Binder is the right word. We're just using enough of this breading so that it's binding the crab together so that you can cook it and it stays in a cake, thus being a crab cake. So we're gonna go in with some breadcrumbs and we're really not gonna use very much at all. You see how much I got in my hand? Now I'm gonna sprinkle slightly more and that'll do it. And when we mix this up, we'll see if we need a little bit more. But that should probably do it. We've got Worcestershire and you're just going with a couple of splashes. And I mean that. Don't get overzealous and I'll do it on the Worcestershire or you will mess up your crab cake. Give me 1 second. Yeah, YouTube, I can tell you it's really easy to get happy when you start shaking that Worcestershire bottle and you'll have a product that you won't be pleased with at all. You just spent $30 on a pound of crab and got nothing out of it. So now you're gonna mix. When you do the mix, use your hand, not a spoon preferably, or a utensil of any sort. Be careful, you wanna get it so that it's binding. You wanna get all of the seasonings in there and you know, coat it evenly across the crab. You don't want to, you're gonna get some of the lump is gonna be broken down as you're doing this. There's no doubt about that. You don't want to significantly break down your lump. You don't want it shredded, right? So as I go through here, if you look in this, you're gonna see the binding agents are in there, but if you, let's see if you can see that. If you push those to the side, you still see big chunks of the crab, right? So it might look mushy, but that's because the binding agents are in there. That Old Bay crab cake seasoning and the bread seasoning or the breadcrumbs. But the crab, you can see it really good right there. It's still in big pieces. And that's what you want. That's what makes a good crab cake. I mean, that's why you go out and spend $30 a pound on this stuff. And sometimes it's $40 a pound, depending on where you find it. It's because it's big pieces that taste good. You don't want to do that and then come home and squeeze it all into a little, you know, shredded mush. You can go and get the cheap stuff. That's what you want to do. All right. I'm going to take these. We're going to fold them into cakes. And let's see if we got the consistency we want. And you can check consistency by doing just what I'm doing right here. And by the way, you can also make crab balls out of these. People do them that way. Always make mine as cakes, but that's fine. That's perfect, in fact. It's doing exactly what I want to do. It stays together. You have as little bit of binding agent as you need to make a really good crab cake that sticks. Hey, what can you say? All right, YouTube, stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right, so I got the crab cakes ready. I'm going to show them to you in a second. I want to mention a couple of things. One, like, favorite, subscribe, punch in for notifications. If you could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. It helps with the channel, helps get things going. Try to get more viewers on. A lot of people get on YouTube and, you know, they trying to make a living doing it. It's not that for me. I like to have fun cooking, doing a couple other things, so I make the videos. But I do like to have people participate in watching them. That's what makes it worthwhile doing it. I'm a lawyer by my real trade. It's a really stressful job. This is what I come home and do and have a good time doing it. And then I enjoy sharing it with YouTube and having people come on and watch. So if you do that stuff for me with these videos, I'd appreciate it. I know I watch videos and really enjoy them a lot of time, and you don't think about it while you're doing it. You're like, I forget the thumbs up, or I forget to do whatever, even though you might think it was a decent video. So to the extent you can do it, I appreciate it. Let's look at these crab cakes and see what they look like. I like the way they look, but that's just me. Let's see what you think. All right, and there we go. So I did 5, as you see, and then 5 decent sized crab cakes. That would be, I guess, 2/10 of a pound each. Just under a quarter pound. Well, 1/5 of a pound, I guess, is obviously the easier way to say it. So I'm going to cook these. I'm not going to cook them right now. It's going to be a few hours, probably 4 or 5 hours. So I will get back to you when I do it. You can cook these any number of ways. You can broil them, you can deep fry them, you can pan fry them. I'm going to pan fry these. I'm going to pan fry them in grapeseed oil, and I'll show you what they look like. I'll give you a taste test. It's going to be remarkable. It's going to be amazing. I think you're going to love it. Stay tuned. It's going to be a few hours, but you're going to feel like it was just a few seconds. See you a little bit later.